Weeks have passed since 18-year-old Anna Kepner was found dead aboard the Carnival Horizon cruise ship, and the question still hangs in the air. What happened in that cabin? Why hasn't anyone been arrested yet? As the investigation continues, new evidence from the ship's own records is emerging. Evidence that could finally help us uncover the truth. But as we dig deeper into this case, there's a lesson we can all take away. A lesson that could save a life. Something we can all use to protect our loved ones. The gravity of Anna's death is undeniable. It's a tragedy, one that should have been a joyous family vacation, instead turned into a nightmare. But what happened in that cabin? We're about to dive deep into the details of that night. The cabin logs from the ship, hidden secrets within the official records, could be the key to understanding everything. If you believe justice should be served for Anna, hit subscribe. Anna Kepner, just 18, was supposed to be enjoying a family vacation aboard the Carnival Horizon, setting sail for the Caribbean. It was supposed to be a dream getaway, but instead, it ended in unspeakable tragedy. The last time anyone saw Anna, she was leaving dinner. She said goodbye to her grandparents, promising she'd see them later at the casino. The hours that followed, those last moments, remained shrouded in mystery. Today, we're revealing the hidden secrets of the cabin logs, the records that show the movements in and out of Anna's cabin. Details that could change everything you thought you knew about Anna's final hours. The logs, the ship's own records, could offer new insight into the strange circumstances of her death. They could help us piece together a puzzle that's been unsolved for far too long. Who really was the last person in Anna's cabin? What secrets are hidden within those records? These records, just a few scribbled lines on a page, may hold the key to a life lost too soon. The question of who was really responsible for Anna's death is about to take a darker turn. Stay with me, because the answers we're about to uncover may be far more shocking than you can imagine. It was a warm night, just like any other, when Anna's family gathered for dinner that evening on the Carnival Horizon. The air was thick with the excitement of a family vacation. The bright lights of the ship, the soft hum of the ocean just beneath the deck. But beneath the surface, something was off. Anna's movements that night, now captured in the ship's logs, are crucial to understanding what happened. As we go through the records, we can see her stepbrother entering and exiting Anna's cabin. Why is he the only one on these logs? Why was no one else seen going in and out during the critical hours of that night? The logs show his name, timestamp after timestamp, entering Anna's cabin. It wasn't just once or twice either. There are multiple entries. The first one catches attention. Just after dinner at 8:30 p.m. Was that when Anna returned to her cabin, or was she still there? It's strange because at 9:45 p.m., her stepbrother enters again and again. The pattern, the timing, the oddity. Why didn't anyone else use the key card to enter? Why was he, and only he, seen coming and going from that cabin? Why was no one else involved? At 10:30 p.m., the cabin logs show something even stranger. He enters the cabin for the final time. This is the last timestamp. The logs don't show anyone else going in or out, at least not after that. It's unsettling. The steps he took, each entry, each exit, point to a timeline that doesn't match up with anyone else's account of that night. The last time Anna was seen alive, she'd spoken with her grandparents, telling them she'd be back later at the casino. What happened between then and the moment the cabin logs show the stepbrother entering again? The next movements, do they confirm what we think happened, or are we missing something crucial? The only thing the logs show is that Anna's stepbrother had access no one else seemed to have. He was the one who controlled that cabin door. Now let's dive deeper into those key times. Let's break down the timestamps. At 9:45 p.m., the logs show the stepbrother entering the cabin for the second time. This is important. It's the window of time when Anna could have been alone, or maybe she wasn't. We don't know exactly, but the logs suggest he was in there. The next log at 10:30 p.m. doesn't just raise questions, it shatters assumptions. He enters one final time. But where was Anna? Had she already been harmed? Was she hiding somewhere in the cabin? We know she was found hours later, her body staged beneath a mattress and hidden under life jackets. Why would someone go to such lengths to conceal a body? The logs could hold the missing piece to this puzzle, but what are we missing? The more we look at these logs, the more unsettling it becomes. What do they really tell us? Anna's stepbrother's movements don't line up with his statements. There's no other explanation for why he was the only one accessing her cabin. Could he have been the last person to see her alive? What does that mean for his involvement? These logs, these quiet, unassuming records, could reveal everything, but they still leave us with so many unanswered questions. As the investigation continues, one thing is clear. The ship's records, these logs, are pointing us towards something we never expected. The evidence from these records could change everything we thought we knew about that night. But what is it we're truly seeing? As the truth begins to reveal itself, the logs take us down a dark path, a path that leads us to more than just a missing person. It raises more questions, more doubt. What happened in that cabin? And why does Anna's stepbrother's timeline continue to defy logic? Stay tuned. We haven't even scratched the surface yet. There's something more, something hidden between the timestamps, and we're just about to uncover it. Like this video, if you believe the footage should speak for itself, only those with something to hide won't like. The cabin logs. They don't lie, do they? It's one thing to talk about what people saw or what they claim to have seen. It's another thing entirely to see the proof written down. The timestamps. The names. Anna's stepbrother was the only one who had access to that cabin after dinner. And as we look deeper into those entries, something feels off. There are no other keycard entries. No one else appears to have entered that cabin after Anna returned. But where was everyone else? Where was Anna's father? Her mother? Why didn't anyone else use their keycards to get in? The only person who could open that door was him. At 8:30 p.m., the logs show Anna's stepbrother entering the cabin. At 9:45 p.m., he's back again. The same name, the same timestamp. And again, at 10:30 p.m., he's there. Again, the same name, the same time. Over and over, he's the only one entering. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a fluke. The pattern, the repetition, tells us something important. He was the only one who could open that door. Only he had access. Let that sink in for a moment. Why? Why was he the only one? Where was everyone else? Had Anna been alone in the cabin for hours, unseen by anyone else? Or was she somewhere else, locked away in a place that only her stepbrother knew about? The keycard logs don't lie, but they leave us with so many questions. What does this really mean? Why didn't anyone else open the door to that cabin? And why did Anna's stepbrother have exclusive access? The truth, it seems, is hidden in plain sight. These strange, simple records, seemingly mundane, hold the key to a mystery that's as twisted as it is perplexing. Why wasn't anyone else able to get in? Why didn't anyone else use their cards? What was happening behind those closed doors? The deeper we dive into the logs, the more questions arise. Could this be an attempt to cover something up? The thought is chilling. Could someone be hiding the truth in plain sight? Or is there another, more disturbing explanation we haven't considered yet? But as these logs reveal more about the timeline of that night, something stands out. The entries are perfectly timed. Too perfect. How did Anna's stepbrother know exactly when to enter the cabin? The clock ticks on, 9:45 p.m., 10:30 p.m., and it's him every time. What was he doing? What did he see when he entered? We're left with a haunting question. What exactly happened when the door closed behind him? The logs show his movements, step by step, but they don't tell us what was happening inside. And this is where it gets strange. The questions don't stop there. Why did no one else have access? It seems like a simple detail, but it's a crucial one. If anyone else had entered the cabin, the story might have been different, but no one else could. And there's one more thing. The most chilling part of all this, if Anna was already gone by the time he entered that cabin at 10:30 p.m., what was he doing there? What happened between 9:45 p.m. and 10:30 p.m.? What did he know? It doesn't add up. And with every entry, the pattern starts to look more like a carefully planned sequence. But what was the plan? What happened in those final moments? Stay with us. The next piece of the puzzle is about to drop. As the investigation goes deeper, the logs give us just enough to make us question everything we thought we knew. This could be the key to understanding what really happened to Anna. But there's still so much we don't know. And as we piece it together, the answers keep shifting, moving, just out of reach. Share this video if you think the truth needs to come out. Only manipulators won't share. Shaikon. The deeper we look, the more we realize this case may not be as straightforward as it seemed, but stay with us. The truth is closer than ever before. The cabin logs. They are the key to understanding the timeline of that night, and they don't lie. But the question remains, what does this timeline really tell us about Anna's stepbrother? Was he in and out of that cabin more times than he should have been? The logs are clear. At 8:30 p.m., the first entry is logged. At 9:45 p.m., he enters again. And then again at 10:30 p.m., 3 times in one night. But where was everyone else? Where were Anna's family members? Why is it just him, time after time, moving through that cabin while everyone else stays silent? It's a strange pattern, a familiar pattern. And as we analyze these movements, something doesn't add up. Itinio, we've seen it before. People lie. People twist the truth to fit their narrative. But the logs don't lie. The numbers, timestamps, show us something else. They show us Anna's stepbrother in that cabin again and again. But why, Nate? Why was he in and out of that cabin so many times? And what was he doing inside? William, his version of the night doesn't match up with what the logs are saying. He told investigators one thing, but the logs, they tell a completely different story. What was he hiding? What did he know that no one else did? It's as if the more we dig into his movements, the more questions arise. Each entry, each timestamp adds another layer to the mystery. The deeper we look into the logs, the more we realize this wasn't an accident. This wasn't just a coincidence. His movements and their timing, everything about them feels deliberate, like someone who knew exactly when to act. But why? Why was he the only one allowed to enter Anna's cabin? And what was he doing each time he stepped inside? Could he have been trying to cover something up? Or was he simply trying to hide the truth? The more we study these patterns, the clearer it becomes. Something isn't right. His actions don't match up with his statements. He says one thing, but the logs say something entirely different. It's like trying to piece together a puzzle, but the pieces keep shifting. Just when you think you've got the whole picture, another piece falls into place and everything changes. These entries, they don't just show where he was, they show what he was doing. But we still don't know why. Could he have been there to make sure the crime was hidden? Could the timing of his movements be connected to Anna's disappearance? And what about the key moments, the times between the entries? It's almost as if he knew exactly when to make his move, but we still don't know what. Could this be the missing piece of the puzzle? Is this the key to unlocking the truth? As we unravel the mystery, the logs tell us one thing. The stepbrothers' movements raise more questions than answers. The deeper we go, the more it feels like the pieces are slipping away from us. There's something about this timeline that doesn't make sense. Did I say, is he hiding something? Does he know more than he's letting on? And just when we think we're getting closer to the truth, the mystery deepens. The truth behind his actions, could it be more shocking than we ever imagined? Stay tuned, because we're about to unravel a mystery that might change everything. To comment, I want justice for Anna. If you think the footage should speak for itself, Only those with something to hide won't comment. The deeper we go, the more tangled this web becomes. But we're not done yet. Keep watching. We're just getting started. The cabin logs were our first real clue, a glimpse into the timeline of what happened that fateful night. But as we dig deeper, the more we realize these logs don't just tell a story, they tie into something much darker. They connect with forensic evidence, autopsy reports, CCTV footage, physical evidence at the crime scene. The deeper we go, the clearer it becomes. These logs aren't just entries of time and movement. They could be the key to unraveling the truth about Anna's death. The timing, the precise moments when Anna's stepbrother entered the cabin. When did it happen? What does this timeline reveal? In time, let's break it down. The stepbrother's first entry happens just after 9:30 p.m. He enters. Then, then he leaves. But that's not where the story ends. The second entry comes just before midnight, a strange, unsettling gap in time. Why wait? Why come back so late? The logs don't explain it yet, but the forensic evidence might. Imagine this. Anna's body is discovered hours later, hidden beneath a mattress, wrapped in life jackets. No signs of a struggle, no immediate clues. But the autopsy tells us something. Asphyxiation. No sexual assault. Her body's still in pristine condition. And now, as we connect the dots, there's something that stands out. The logs and the autopsy times seem to align in a way that suggests the stepbrother's presence in the cabin wasn't just coincidence. What does it all mean? Could the timing of his entries, his repeated access to that cabin, point to the time of death? It's a chilling thought. The logs, in their cold, meticulous detail, seem to match the physical evidence. Every entry, every exit, right at the key moments. Could this timing be the smoking gun? Could the logs be telling us not just when he was in the cabin, but when Anna died? But wait, could it be more than just a coincidence? Could the stepbrother have known the logs were being recorded? Could he have adjusted his behavior, trying to cover his tracks? This is where things get even murkier. If the stepbrother knew the cabin logs were documenting every move, could he have acted differently? Could his entries and exits have been calculated, designed to make it look like he was just a part of the family vacation? Or worse, could he have manipulated the timing of his movements to create an alibi? What if these logs weren't just a timeline of events, but an attempt to cover up the truth? Let's pause for a moment. We know the forensic evidence is clear. The timing of Anna's death is still uncertain, but the logs might hold the answer. But what if the logs themselves were manipulated? Could the entries have been tampered with? Could the stepbrother have had access to them and, knowing the ship's systems, change the timestamps to fit his narrative? It's a horrifying thought, but in a case this complex, anything is possible. As we continue to dig deeper into the details, the tension mounts. We're not just looking at a timeline anymore. We're staring at a puzzle that's more intricate and more sinister than we could have imagined. Could the stepbrother's repeated entries into the cabin be the final piece of the puzzle? What did he do inside during those times when no one else was around? Was he hiding something? Or was he just following a plan? Could the cabin logs be the key to solving this mystery? Or are they merely a smokescreen designed to lead us in the wrong direction? The truth, it seems, is just out of reach, but we're getting closer. We have the logs, we have the evidence. Now let's see if it's enough to uncover what really happened. Comment "Justice for Anna" if you think her story deserves to be told. Only haters won't comment. Stay with us. The deeper we go, the darker it gets. We're not done yet. The investigation is far from over. The cabin logs, they brought us closer to the truth. But as we know, sometimes the closer you get, the more elusive the answers become. The FBI is still poring over every detail, every entry, every movement, and yet the question still lingers. What really happened in that cabin? The FBI's probe is ongoing, but the new evidence, these cabin logs, could be the key that finally unlocks the mystery. They've already revealed the stepbrother's suspicious behavior, his repeated entries, the strange timing of his movements. But is it enough to change the course of this investigation? Every new piece of evidence is like a door opening, just enough to see what's inside, but not enough to walk through it. The cabin logs, they're detailed, they're precise, but they don't tell us everything. We've seen the timestamps. We know the stepbrother was the only one seen entering and exiting that cabin on the night Anna disappeared. But what does that really mean? The logs give us a glimpse into Anna's final moments. They show us where people went, when they went. But do they give us the truth? And where does the FBI go from here? They have the logs, they have the footage, they have the stepbrother's movements logged. But are they enough to move this case forward? To make an arrest? The FBI's task now is to dig deeper, to see if there's more in those logs than what we've already uncovered. Are the logs telling us the truth, or are they hiding something more sinister? But even as the investigation continues, there are still so many unanswered questions. Why did the stepbrother act the way he did? Why did no one else enter the cabin? Why was he alone? We know the cabin logs are suspicious. We know they tell us more than we expected, but there's still a dark shadow hanging over this case. What is the stepbrother hiding? Did he really have no idea what happened, or is there something he's not telling us? The logs show us the key to Anna's final hours, but they don't unlock everything. And as the investigation continues, the question remains, will the truth ever be revealed? What will the authorities do with the new evidence? Can they connect the dots between the logs, the forensic evidence, and the stepbrother's behavior? Or is there something bigger happening here? Something we haven't yet uncovered? The case isn't over yet, and as the investigation continues, the truth is slowly starting to come to light. But is it enough to solve the mystery of Anna's death? The FBI has the clues. They have the evidence, but they still don't have the answers. And the deeper they dig, the more complex the case becomes. So what happens next? Who can we trust? And will the truth finally come out? As we wait for the next update, we are left with more questions than answers. The cabin logs, they've opened a door, but is it the right door? Or is there more waiting behind the next one? Subscribe for more updates on this case and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the cabin logs reveal the truth, or is there more to this than we realize? The investigation continues, but the question remains, will we ever truly know what happened that night?